Hey, Johan. How are you, Johan? Why don't you ever turn your camera on ever again? Are you ashamed of something? Okay. I saw a hand, or what was that? Was that a hand? I hope it was a hand.
Yeah, it was mine.
Hey, Johan.
Who are you talking with?
What?
Who were you talking with?
Nobody. Why?
Yeah, because you start talking and it wasn't me there in that moment.
It was the YouTube kicking in. I just turned it off.
Okay.
Just close the window, the tab.
Actually,
So,
I'm leaving soon.
Where are you going?
I'm going downstairs to the parking because I am going to clean something in my car.
You're going to what? Clean?
To clean, yeah.
Why? What happened? Doggy did number 2?
No. He's a gentleman. It was because a jar of honey was broken in the back seat, so I had to remove that, check it out, and I need to clean that honey.
That's gonna be a lot of work.
Maybe. You have a plan? You want to join?
I'll pass. I'm busy.
You can skip giving that class and you can help me.
Help you clean the car? Get all the honey out of your back seat? Wow, I don't know how you're gonna do it. Is that material or leather or whatever?
Material. It's not leather. I don't have enough money for that one.
So what's the plan? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna exactly? Not yet. What are you gonna do? What's your plan? How are you gonna remove honey off, out of material?
No, actually, the majority is not over the seat is like inside, like under the seat.
Okay.
Between the seat and the, I don't know, the iron or the
right.
Yeah, so I have to.
The chassis.
Yeah.
So you got like the majority in the chassis, the minority on the seat.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
How did it break? What happened?
It was because, long story short, there was another jar. Both were glass, and they were colliding, and they broke each other.
How many times have I told you not to put glass bottles together?
Yeah, it's something that my mom said, and actually she was right. Packed both.
You had to prove it.
She was the person who packed both bottles.
Oh,
it's a long story, but
yes.
That's like the fact,
the gist of it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, man. So good luck with your cleaning. When you go down, I know that you're not gonna be available, right?
Yeah, maybe when I be there, I can continue hearing you.
Yes.
And that's it.
No problem. I understand. Okay, and here's Juanca from Palmira, and we have Lucho from Antioquia, and we have Nancy from Mexico City. Amazing. Mexico, right? Like now, now that we have had a chance to be with Nancy as classmates, and for me as a student, Mexico starts to feel more closer to us. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it that way.
Yeah, it's like the geography of the world is in our minds. And, like obviously it's also on the physical world, but it's also in our minds. And things seem very far away and distant and foreign and different. except when you meet people from those places, it starts to become like, you know, like it's around the corner. It's just another place in my mind. Okay. So it's fantastic. It's great to have people from other places and be so tolerant of us because, you know, we're different. Okay. So thank you everybody for being here. Tonight's going to be a different lesson. Tonight we're not going to, you know that we're not doing viñetas tonight, right? I told you that was for Wednesday because, you know, like now we're going to start with a collection of holidays on Mondays. So I don't want to be like, okay, today's Monday or Wednesday. No, so we're going to switch for now to Wednesdays for viñetas. So we don't need to be, you know, like changing that because remember, that's kind of our anchor. Our anchor is like our most important part of the week is the viñeta. So I'm going to leave it now for now on Wednesday because now we start with a collection of different holidays. And don't ask me what kind of holidays because we celebrate everything. Everything. I don't know, like the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the body of Jesus, you know, lots of things.
Teacher, when is the beginning of the holidays?
June is, you know, like one after another. I think there are 3 in June, right? How many holidays do we have in June? Let me just take a look.
3 of June?
Holidays, Colombia 2023. Let me share, if you don't mind. Where is this? Is it this one? Is it this one? Am I sharing the right screen?
Yeah.
No. No, right? Okay. Holidays, Colombia 2023. Check it out. We have right now we're down to Labor, Ascension, June. Look at this. You see? Cuerpo de Cristo, Corpus Christi.
Yep.
Corpus Christi is June 12th. Okay. And then we have the Feast of the Sacred Heart, Sagrado Corazón, right? And okay, so there are 2 in June. And then in July, there is Feast of Saint Peter and Paul, Independence Day.
Yep.
And then there is Battle of Boyacá, Assumption of Mary, Day of the Races, okay, etc. What were you saying, Juanca?
It is single and married.
Yeah.
And when we are going to come back, teacher,
Come back where?
to the holidays?
No, the next is in June 12th. No, it's the next one week ago. So it's on Monday. Is June 5. It's normal, but the next Monday is holiday. That is Corpus Christi.
And they're always Mondays. They're always Mondays.
And
so-
also 1 week after Corpus Christi is holiday also.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like we're coming back. We're just gonna stay for now on Wednesdays. Maybe in August we come back to viñeta on Monday, but it's going to be the same. Only that we're gonna change viñeta for Wednesday. That's all. That's the only difference. Because I don't want to be changing you back and forth. That's why.
I got it.
In brief, the next 6 Mondays, 3 of them are holidays, right?
Exactly. So it's gonna be a lot of holidays now. And it's
Okay,
always
got it.
Monday. So so today we're gonna do a different lesson real quick. This is very urgent also. We're gonna start talking about rhetoric, okay, and rhetorical devices. Okay.
Rhetorical devices.
What is rhetoric? What is rhetoric? Maybe a good question to ask ChatGPT. Okay. To me, very important. Okay, very important. Rhetoric is very important in language. There are two things that I consider very important in language, especially for us learners, when we want to take it to the next level. Not when you want to be good students, but when you want to be great thinkers in English, when you want to be legendary. This is one. And the other one is metaphor. We're going to be talking about metaphor too. Metaphor is one of the rhetorical devices we're going to study today. What is rhetoric? Let's ask chat, right? What's rhetoric? Okay, that's how you write it, and that's how you pronounce it, rhetoric. Okay, which in Spanish is retórica, right?
But
and let's remember that.
This
What?
H is after R? No, it's after V? No.
No, it's there.
Okay.
Rhetoric. And rhetoric is something that we hear normally used in colloquial language as carreta, as bullshit, as, you know, shit that is supposed to sound interesting, intelligent, mature, honest, etc. A certain way, something that is made to sound a certain way, and is actually a hook to get you fooled, to take advantage of you. Okay?
Okay.
But that's just the popular use, maybe, that has become popularized. I don't like your rhetoric. Oh, that's just rhetoric. Okay? And it's normally like only something that you think about politicians doing, for example, to gain recognition, to gain favoritism, to gain, you know, access to people because they want to make people believe they'll change everything, life will be good, etc. So that's one way of using the word rhetoric. But rhetoric is actually quite a very interesting discipline in studying the language. It's an application of our thinking through language. Pay attention. What's rhetoric? We asked ChatGPT, right? And I see what the answer is. Rhetoric. There's your answer. It's taking time. It's a difficult question.
It's taking time.
Why is this so slow?
Block the machine learning. Slow. Oh my God.
No network? How come no network and I'm talking to you, right? Isn't that kind of crazy? Okay. Reconnect it.
It's quite a straightforward. The, the ChatGPT version 4. So it's not with around rodeos.
It doesn't beat about the bush.
It's a difficult
Just in
question.
the point.
Yeah. Look at this. I like this. Pay attention. Let's keep it up to here. Okay. That's important. I like that. Rhetoric is the art of effective or persuasive speaking. Is the art of being sexy. Is the art of being legendary. Is the art of being memorable. Is the art of getting the job. Is the art of getting your way around things. Is the art of winning because you're convincing, persuasive. I've said this a lot. You need to be persuasive. You need to be people that convince others. Okay, that's our true power. It's not just speaking English. Please don't say that. You know, like, what do you have? Do you have any special skill? Oh, I speak English. That's nothing. It's like, what's your skill? What's your special skill? I'm a human being. No, that's not a special skill. So speaking English is being human, more or less. If you want to be superhuman, say that you can effectively persuade people when you talk to them. Then, wow, really? Prove it. And then you prove it, and they're like, yes, you're right. You just persuaded me. I believe you. That's it. I mean, like, this is your objective. Your objective is not to speak English. That's stupid. That's only for people that don't have a clear set of criteria. But you have a set of criteria that I have helped you effectively put together. And now you have to think, I don't speak English. No, I mean, I do. But what I do is I effectively persuade people when I speak English.
Okay.
That's a winning proposition. Okay. And that's what I want you to not just say. This is something that I want you to be able to project. That's what I work with you on every week with the viñetas. I want you time after time after time of you demonstrating to the group that you can persuade effectively. These people here, these people that are very nice, you, Juanca, Berna, Luis, Nancy, you are very nice to be here and listen to people. Let them try to persuade you. And if they effectively persuade you, we know we're doing the job right. Okay? And that's rhetoric. Especially the use of figures of speech. That's what we're going to be learning today. We're going to learn 12 figures. Or is it 15? I think it's 12. Figures of speech that we're going to be using, okay, when we present. Why do we need to learn rhetoric? I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody uses rhetoric. Everybody is able to convince other people. You convince your husband, your wife, your friend to do something. That is rhetoric. But we do it in it's a spontaneous, unstructured, sometimes lucky way. We're lucky. We're lucky that we can persuade people. Okay? But if we apply concepts to it, and if we learn figures of speech, we are like artists. What's the difference between an artist and a person that doesn't know about art of any kind? Say, for example, a painter. What's the difference between a painter or an interior decorator versus the person that buys the art or buys the decoration for the house? The difference
The purpose?
is, yeah. The what? Once again?
The purpose?
The purpose, yeah, absolutely. But the purpose can be shared, maybe too, because you can say, imagine that I'm an interior decorator, Nancy, and you hire me. Your purpose is to beautify that room in your house. And that's also my purpose, because if your purpose becomes my purpose and I make you happy effectively, I get paid and I get referred to other people that you know. Okay. So, no.
For me, the main difference is the craft or the style of the kind of art that people put in his work, being it to only yeah, original only or in this kind of style. So
Yeah,
is the when you have the skill, the develop skill that become structures or products in only one in Minecraft. I don't know what is the translation of artesanal craft.
handicrafts.
Handicraft, exactly. The handicrafts. So you give a only final product. So is the value this product over something similar of them.
Absolutely. My appreciation, besides what you just mentioned, is that the expert, the interior decorator, for example, knows about color. And you too. Nancy would say, well, I also know about color, but there's a difference. Nancy knows what colors she likes. The expert knows the colors in general. And if the expert understands the way Nancy thinks in color, and the expert looks at the place with the lighting, with everything, and presents something to Nancy, because he understood Nancy's understanding of color, what she likes, the expert can pick the colors because the expert knows the colors. And that's the difference between the expert, the interior decorator, and Nancy. Nancy knows what she wants, but the expert knows what Nancy wants, where it is, how it's classified, what the name is, what the chemical composition is. I don't know. Like they know a lot of stuff about each of those things that Nancy enjoys. Do you understand? There's a difference. And it's difference in everything, in language too. In language too, we need to have like a palette of colors. I'm going to give you 12 colors today to color with. Maybe, and this is the great maybe you already use some of them, but you don't know that you use them. And that's the crazy part. That's why I need to give you the box of colors or crayons, because then you understand them, and then you classify them, and then you can remember to use them, because sometimes we are lucky that we remember, and sometimes we are maybe unlucky that we forget. This can happen, for example, when Luis is making a presentation for the team or for a client. He's making a presentation, he works on his presentation, and he has a magic trick that he doesn't know, but that people appreciate and they like. Oh, I like Luis's presentations. And if you ask the non-experts, why? I don't know, I just like him. And then they ask Luis, how do you do it? What is this that you do that people love? I don't know, man, I just love what I do, is what he says. Okay? So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna give Luis the box of colors. So when somebody asks, hey, Luis, what did you do there? What was so cool about it? Why did I like it so much? I use the color red, this one. Okay. That's what we're going to learn today. Okay. And then when you're going to pick your next presentation and you want to color it, you're going to be like, maybe here I'm going to put red. And that's what the expert does. Oh, maybe at the end, I'm going to use blue. And you start to think about the reasons why you combine colors that way if you read your audience. Okay? My audience is my coworkers, or my audience is my client, or my audience is the other kids in my son's class. It's different. And then you can use those elements and not manipulate like the politician, but persuade, inspire people, okay? When we do our presentations of the vignettes, that's what I want. I want you to inspire us, to make us feel sentimental, to help us remember or imagine, like in the case of the future, okay? That's effective communication. And this is something that was part of the curriculum, mandatory for Greeks and Romans, okay? Maybe because in those times, language was the medium, right? And then through effective communication and the use of the strategies and the different figures, they achieved specific purpose of or effect on their speeches, okay? There are several elements involved in rhetoric, including the speaker or writer, the audience, the message, and the context or situation, etc. The speaker, you guys, uses rhetorical devices. That's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you 12. And strategies to shape the message. The strategies come from using those rhetorical devices in different combinations. And then you do that when you consider your audience's needs, values, and attitudes. Rhetoric includes, various methods of persuasion. Ethos, appealing to the ethics of the speaker or character. Pathos, appealing to emotions. And logos, appealing to the logic or reason. Okay, so pay attention. That's the trifecta of rhetoric: ethos, pathos, and logos. You appeal to the logic, you appeal to the emotions, or you appeal to the speaker's character, your own character. How do you do that? How do you appeal to ethos? For example, number one, Eddie says, well, I'm a geologist. I have experience working this and this and that, and I have been doing this, and I have done that, and I have this, and chiribiquete, and blah. And that's ethos. Eso se llama ethos. Ethos is what makes us believe that Eddie is the right person for the job. And we're like, okay, yeah, we need to listen to this guy now. And that's exactly right. That's what you receive or what you accomplish when you appeal to ethos. People want to listen to you. Therefore, they're more exposed to you and they're easily persuaded, let's say, or at least more easily persuaded than if they didn't believe in you or if they thought that you were just another guy like them. But when you set yourself apart through ethos is where possibilities open up for you when you speak. So rhetoric is an essential component of many fields, such as politics. That's what gives rhetoric a bad name. Law, maybe also. Marketing, as well. Public relations, oh yeah, definitely too. And journalism, oh, don't get me started on that. But there's a difference. If you use rhetoric for you as a person to inspire people, your kid, Eddie, your kid, Juan, or your kid, Luis, or your future kids, Bernardo. Bernardo said, no. All right. Or a family member going through a difficult time, or your classmates to make him imagine a future that you want them to imagine effectively. Okay. All right. So there you go. That's what rhetoric is in a nutshell. That's by ChatGPT. Now, let me give you a couple of devices.
I have a question.
Yes.
Rhetoric is an adjective, or is a behavior?
No, rhetoric is a noun. Rhetorical is an adjective.
Oh, okay. So in rhetoric is possible to include or to add many behaviors for people that who are good listener, because for example, in marketing or in commercial or in salesman theory, is good to say that people need or the good salesman is who learned to listen the necessity of the customers or the potential customers, and over these necessities or over these demands, he become or he built the offer, right? So if you mention about rhetoric, is something who is who acquired or who learned a skill or who developed a skill for catch many people around an idea, or the main goal is catch people for the idea. In this case, the good listener is another behavior or another kind of people, or is complementary. What do you think about that?
I think it's complementary, obviously. When you talk about listening the person that you are supposed to serve, I'm thinking you need to read that person like a book. And you need to understand the instructions that this person is giving you without saying them. Like when I'm an interior decorator and I go visit Nancy again, Nancy doesn't know how to talk to an interior decorator, maybe. Maybe yes, maybe not, but I don't need her to know. I just need to listen to her. And by listening, I start to read her intentions, her dreams, purposes, what she wants, what she has liked in the past. And I take all that information together and then I create something that for her is interesting, cool.
Okay.
And then the listening part is important. You don't need to simply just like attract people in order to take advantage of them. You can attract people to deliver a message. If people pay attention to you because you make sense, because there's ethos, pathos in you, then you're supposed to be listened by more and maybe you become popular. All of these singers, the songs that they sing, the way in which they interpret their compositions, that's rhetoric. And the best rhetoricians are the ones that become pop artists and become very successful and well-known. See, for example, this girl, Karol G, that is becoming quite a star, right? Karol G, she's becoming very popular. And is her lyrics and is her interpretation of those lyrics. That's rhetoric. When she sings those words, maybe she communicates pain without saying, I'm in pain. And then you're like, wow. You know, I remember a guy also. Yeah.
Teacher, that takes me to the video. A video I saw yesterday by Jacob Bedoya, and they say that something like that. It's like the ability to make a connection with feelings and obviously transmit a message. He talks about exactly the same artist, and it's true when she's singing, I can feel maybe the feeling, but it doesn't matter if I have the exactly meaning of the word.
Exactly.
Because by example, I didn't know which is the meaning by gonorrhea Colombian in Colombian jargon. So by me, the first time when I listened it, I thought like, what? What is this? What is it? But I don't know. Now I understand the meaning, and well, now I feel that connection, no?
Exactly.
With the feeling.
And it's interesting. I mean, that's rhetoric, my friends. And that's what we need to start to develop into a system. So our vignettes get better every time, that we can see that we're really reaching out to people, grabbing them, keeping their attention, delivering the message. That's all we need to do now. It's a tall order. This is not just speaking English, like I said at the beginning. This is more than that. Okay, so a couple of devices. We're going to start with the first one, very important. This one is all over marketing. More so maybe in the States. Alliteration. And all of those names, I'm going to tell you right now, as a side note, all of those names are terrible. Because they come from Latin and they don't make any sense sometimes in our day-to-day language, and we don't use these words. And maybe you learned some of these words when you were a kid in school, and so you didn't learn to love them because they didn't mean anything to you. You learned them for a test, but now we're going to learn them for life. Okay. Alliteration involves repetition of sounds across a phrase or group of words. That's what alliteration is. Now, why is it important to know that it's alliteration? Like I said before, is because when you run out of the color, I don't know, whatever, then you can go to the store that sells the color and say, I need this color exactly. Okay. And so when you're doing a presentation with your kid, you say, you know what? We should put there more alliteration, especially in that first slide, en esa primera diapositiva, because that way you're going to generate, you know, like the ability, you're going to generate in people the ability to remember what you said, your exact words, because they sound, because alliteration adds lyricism. Look at this, adds lyricism. And by adding lyricism, the message becomes more memorable, easier to remember, and easier to remember in the words that were originally there, because it's pleasant. Lyricisms. Lyricism normally is attached to music, and that's something that, yeah, absolutely, we remember music because it sounds cool. But it also makes your phrases more vivid, alliteration, and easier for an audience to grasp and remember, like I said, okay? And this is all over, from common expressions to names of characters, etc. Okay? Look at this. To give you only but a few examples: Dunkin' Donuts, PayPal, American Airlines, Mickey Mouse, and Minnie Mouse, right? Marilyn Monroe, SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay, let's leave it up to there. Those are characters. And when you name a character or a business, your best decision is to go with alliteration. Yeah? Let's imagine that a couple are opening a business, vendiendo joyas. Yeah?
When you
Vendiendo joyas. And there is Jose and Rosa. And so they're like, but I don't know what to call it. Should we call it Rosa's Joyas or Jose's Joyas? You know, that's it. And in Spanish, Jose Joyas, Rosa Joyas. You see? So when you say Jose Joyas, it adds lyricism and is easier to remember. Okay? So make no mistake. That's it.
But it's not, it's mentioned about the slogan. It's not the same way.
Oh, it can be also in the slogan. I mean, alliteration helps a great deal memory of things. The memory of things improves memory of things.
Another thing is, for example, when a brand of one product is the leader in the market. So many of them, for example, Jabón Rey, for example, Límpido, yeah, for example, Colinos, is one of the brand that generate recordation in the consumer, the final consumer, that the brand over the kind of products or the main characteristic of the products. So is similar this one with alliteration?
No, that's what is called stereotyping. But alliteration is when you pick a name. Most likely you're gonna see this in American TV, in American you know, like superheroes, wrestling, people that in any part of the spectrum of show business, alliteration is much better. Okay, there has to be, and it doesn't have to be, pay attention, doesn't have to necessarily be the beginning sound. I mean, the most common form of alliteration is called rhyming, which is at the end, right? But it can be anywhere. It can be a lot of A's, a lot of O's. It helps. Okay. So if you hear, for example, Hannah Montana, ta, you know, there's alliteration there, especially in Hannah and Anna, then Montana, and stuff like that is everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. It's just a way to think about how to make memories last longer while making sound sonorous, musical, pleasing, nice. Okay. And nothing more so than just repeating sounds. Repetition, by the way, this is one of the fundamentals of rhetoric. Believe it or not, we're going to see a lot of that, repetition. Okay, now pay attention how that also impacts the language in terms of idiomatic expressions. Because up to now, you'd be like, okay, busy as a bee. Okay, busy as a bee. You'd be like, I prefer busy as an ant. Yeah, but there's no alliteration. Ah, so alliteration. And people never understand this. Dead as a doornail. Dead as a doornail. I don't understand. Explain why doornail. It's not explain why doornail. It's because dead as a doornail alliterates. D, dead as a doornail. Ah, yeah, people just like that. Good as gold. Oh, I know other things better than gold. Love, yeah, but it doesn't alliterate. Good as love, nah. Not good for marketing. Good as gold is better. Right as rain. Make a mountain out of a molehill, que es nuestro español, hacer una tormenta en un vaso de agua. ¿Sí? Entonces dirían ellos, pues yo prefiero la tormenta en el vaso de agua. Yeah, pero no es alliterativo. But make a mountain out of a molehill is alliterative. Method to madness, alliterative. And now you start to reveal to yourself in your mind about many phrases that not necessarily are there because they make sense, but because they become memorable because there's alliteration involved. You catch my point? That's the main idea. So now when you're creating your titles for your vignettes, when you're delivering that message that you're going to repeat in your vignettes, you're going to think about alliteration. Much better. I mean, if you can make it alliterative, it's a much stronger message. And that's something that maybe you knew, but you didn't know by name, and you hadn't considered it why, and you hadn't studied it. But now that you have, it belongs to you. And I'm telling you, it's very powerful. Okay, that's just one. Next one is amplification.
Sorry, one question.
Yeah.
So the idea with the previous is to say the phrase more sound, more little a sound combination maybe. I mean the idea is to, or the alliteration is to pronounce with the phrase with sounds like a sound, like more o sea, más agradable, más sonórico, más.
Yeah.
Sí.
No, but it doesn't have to apply to everything. No, you don't need to kill yourself over, okay, how do I make the whole vignetta alliterative? No, but just, like specific phrases that are important for people to remember.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the choice, if you don't have the choice, no problem.
So
okay.
I had to remember the phrase that have sound. Tengo que recordarlas entonces, por ejemplo, make a mountain of the modeling, o cómo logro eso.
Okay, eso es lo que estoy mostrando acá, demostrando, es que muchas veces cuando ustedes se encuentren con algunas expresiones que pareciesen no tener ningún tipo de revés, ni principio, ni final, ni nada, sino como que eso, ¿por qué así? ¿Por qué dicen así? Muchas veces la opción se tomó porque eran aliterativas, entonces la gente la recordaba así, más fácil. ¿Sí? No tiene que tener en realidad un origen que sea como que definitivamente es más lógico esto. ¿Sí?
Sí, listo. O sea, hay frases que son así. Pero por ejemplo,
por lado,
de Dunkin' Donuts tiene un sonido,
total.
Y tiene una fama.
Ajá.
O PayPal,
y precisamente eso le ayuda el hecho de que es aliterativo, ¿sí? Ahora, otra cosa es que cuando ustedes digan, por ejemplo, a ver, yo pienso en algún ejemplo. Por ejemplo, digamos que ustedes tienen están terminando su viñeta y tienen alguna frase importante. Puede ser al final, en la mitad, donde sea. O incluso una frase que van a repetir. Y esa frase, usted diría, bueno, utilizo la palabra, y ya es porque ustedes comienzan a pensar desde esta dimensión. Utilizo la palabra end o utilizo la sinónima finish. Y muchas veces la respuesta está dada en cuál alitera mejor o cuál combina mejor. ¿Sí? Entonces ya uno como que empieza a pensar más allá de lo normal. La persona normal, como lo somos los hombres somos las personas más normales del mundo, ya les voy a decir por qué, para que no se nos ponga Nancy muy arisca. Los hombres somos muy normales. ¿Cómo así que muy normales? Sí, nosotros nos ponemos una camisa, un pantalón y salimos y las mujeres no son normales, ellas sí se la pillan y dicen, eso no combina, así no me sale, se ve muy feo, parece un bocadillo. Y es verdad, ¿sí? Ellas lo detectan. Entonces ahora ya empezamos a componer nuestras viñetas con un sentido de propuesta que tiene que ver como con el detalle. Ustedes ya saben que finish, end y esto y lo otro son sinónimos, hay muchos sinónimos. Pero la pregunta es, ¿cuál puede ir acá que suene mejor? Ya le empiezo como a coger ese gustico. Y por eso con ChatGPT a mí me gusta mucho decirle a Chat, deme 10 versiones de esta viñeta. Y yo empezar a mirar y como mi metáfora es, a mí me gusta irme de compras. I like to go shopping. Entonces yo le pido a Chat 10, 12 versiones. Y empiezo a mirar y bueno, aquí va a haber una aplicación de eso, que empiezas a ir de compras, como digo yo, y dices como que, me compro mejor esta palabra porque alitera con esta y me suena mucho mejor. ¿Sí me entienden? Eso es todo. Y esto es lo que llamamos nivel experto. Sí, esto no es simplemente saber inglés. Esto es utilizar un inglés tan bacano que atrae, permanece, se recuerda, persuade. ¿Ya? And this is just one single device. This is one single device. And there are hundreds that I would like to show you, some of them more important than others because they're very common in our environment. And they all have terrible names, don't worry. All of them have terrible names. The next one, for example, is a lucky break. We catch a lucky break right here. This sounds like a normal word, right? Amplification. You even know what it means, right? Amplify. What is to amplify? Right? But amplification is used as an orderly or a specific organization of things with a purpose, with a sense of direction. Pay attention. Amplification occurs when a speaker arranges words or ideas in the order of increasing force or importance, etc. Not just force or importance, etc. Geography, etc. Okay? Amplification. Moves like a line, normally like a line that goes up, for example.
In this way, what could be the difference in a speech with the intonation?
Oh, well, you build into a climax, okay? There's repetition of key terms to add force to and power. And then you build to a climax. So you're going to imagine that you're going up a staircase. And when you get to the top is where you're higher, right? Use amplification to create an emotional response. Okay? So this is appeal to pathos. Remember that in rhetoric, we have a trifecta: ethos, pathos, and logos. This specific one appeals to emotions in the audience, therefore pathos. Okay, now you're gonna ask me like, okay, teacher, it's interesting and all, but why do I have to know so much things in detail? Because it's like a cook. Everybody cooks, but not everybody's a chef. And then you'll be like, I could be a chef. No, wrong, because you don't know why things happen the way they do and how you make them happen. You don't know, really. You don't know why the salt is not added now, but later. But the chef does. So what you're going to do now is you're going to learn to arrange things in a way that people feel more emotional. That's it. And the experts do it. This is something that the experts do every day because it's what they do. Example. You see how it grows in proportion, expansion, geography, importance, and repetition. Again, pay attention. Repetition is like the link of everything in rhetoric. Repetition, but repetition with a purpose, not redundancy. Pay attention that redundancy is a repetition without any sense of direction is a mistake. It's a lack of preparation, lack of inspiration or whatever. But repeating on purpose is highly appreciated. Now, pay attention. Mr. and Mrs. Robinsons were brand new people in a brand new house in a brand new neighborhood in Paris. So you see, things start to expand. First, they're brand new people. Then there's a brand new house. And then there's a brand new neighborhood. And it's all like, you know, the Russian dolls that get one instead of the other, just like that. All their furniture was new. All their friends were new. Their pictures were new. They themselves were new. Were new is the part that is repeated. And then things start to grow from furniture, which is, you know, an inanimate thing, to friends. Yeah. Their pictures, their memories, right? And themselves. And that is amplification. Any questions? Now we have to. You have to remember
it's clear. It's clear. It's clear for me, really.
Now, listen to me. Now, I mean, Luis, for example, I know that he has to deliver presentations. This is what you do, Luis. This is what you do to create great presentations. You think about these ingredients and then you have them like on a palette, como una paleta. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to use amplification on this first slide. En esta primera diapositiva, amplification. Why? Because you see the opportunity. Okay, I can arrange things better and make them sound like it's amplifying. Guys, what we do here is important. What you do here is important. The whole company is important. And to you, personally, your families are important. So let's do our job better. Whatever, I don't know. Stupid example.
As Fabian asked us about the any doubt, so for Luis Alberto was clear, for Edward was clear, for Nancy was clear, and for Bernardo was clear. So
exactly. Exactly.
the idea.
There you go. I hope that for everybody it was clear. I hope. Now, analogy. Here we start to get close to my favorite. We start to get dangerously close to my favorite of all rhetorical devices. This one is close, but not exactly. Analogy. Analogy is a comparison that is opportunistic. There is something that is similar. Something. They're not equal things. They're not confusable, really. But there's something in particular that is shared or is similar. All right? Analogies compare two things using like or as. And they're often used to provide a simple explanation for a more complicated idea. I don't understand your application. What is that? It's like Uber, but for restaurants. Ah, I got it. You see? So it helps to explain. That's analogy. All right? I think that analogy needs to be employed when the expert is talking to a non-expert. For example, it's very confusable. In my case, I'm very confused. I'm very confusing to people when they ask me, I want to be in your course. What's the course like? We don't have levels. It's just like 3 different levels, but macro levels that involve many people. I don't understand. So there's no 1, 2, 3. No. Okay. And then I say, okay, it's like a gym. It's como un gimnasio. It's my best analogy. It's like a gym. When you enter the gym, you enter with other people, but everybody's different. We have el barrigón, el patiseco, el culichupao. We have the guy that is huge on the upper part. We have el saltamontes, que is huge on the lower part, etc. Todos son diferentes, but they all enter the same space. They use the same machines. They listen to the same music. Yeah, that's what they do here. They learn. But there's no specific kind of learning for each one. No, you personalize it, but I'm not delivering to each one of you something different. But you personalize it. So that's my analogy for this lesson, these lessons. They're often used to provide a simple explanation for a more complicated idea. Pay attention. Simple instead of complicated. That's phenomenal. Additionally, they can be used to deliver a vivid image where something that could be more abstract is not going to have the same quality of vivid image. And it fully captures the imagination of the person that listens. Better, vividness. And you can use analogies to add depth to your central point. Depth. Okay? Example. Now, when you think about white as snow, that's very white, right? Because snow is white only because it reflects a whole bunch of the light that hits it from the sun. And you know, the light of the sun is white. So snow is very white. So if something is as white as snow, that means very white and is more vivid. Now, analogies don't come in one single package or in one single definition. It depends on the experiences of people. See? She's quiet as a mouse. Para nosotros sería lo mismo. Es más callada que qué. Parece como muerta. Porque venimos de una geografía más violenta, ¿o qué? ¿Cómo dirían ustedes? Que una persona muy callada.
It's a Tom.
¿De what?
It's a grow. See, he's silence as a grow, a tumba.
Ah. Sí, as a grave. Yeah.
Grave, excuse me.
Interesting. Sí, aquí de pronto un ambiente más violento. Allá, mouse.
No sé, no habla, pero ponen cuidado lo que decimos.
Muy bien. Pues, okay. We will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters. Okay. And righteousness like a mighty stream. Words by Martin Luther King. A master rhetorician, this guy was, of course. Okay. Now here, okay, sorry. Did you see that analogy? It's not so difficult. Now look at this word. You're going to be like, that's what I don't like, these words. I'm sorry. And I know that you use this a lot, but you didn't know it was the name. This is what you don't know, the name. Once again, what is the possibility that affords you knowing the name? That you don't lose it. You're like, oh, you know what? We should use their anamnesis. Everybody's like, anamnesis, what's that? But you understand, no, anamnesis is when we use the past to appeal to pathos, to make people feel emotional. Okay? Like you remember when we first started this course, almost 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
And I just decided that it was supposed to be something that has been changing. And I have mentioned it before, it has changed because of the people that we started to attract and to keep through the process. At the beginning, if you remember, I was meeting you twice a week.
Yeah.
Then we started to add more and more and more, right? Now, what are we doing? I'm taking you through a recollection of the past. And that's very powerful because we share the same experience. And so with your group of people, you use anamnesis to emphasize commonalities between you and your audience and to demonstrate mastery of the subject. And mastery of the subject also is appeal to ethos, appeal to your authority, because you know you're the man for the job because you know.
Because you are the expert.
Exactly. And that's why this is important. Anamnesis forms a part of a larger appeal to ethos or the character and authority of the speaker. And also appeal to pathos, because if we share the same information, when you make him remember, people feel emotional. Do you remember when we started, we had nothing? Yeah, etc. And now we're here. That commonality makes people emotional. Okay. Okay, that's anamnesis. Anaphora is those words, right? Perfect. I love those words, right? Anaphora. What is that? And pay attention what I told you. Repetition is the key ingredient of good rhetoric, but you have to know how to repeat. It's like in a song, you have the chorus. And one of my favorite pop artists or rock artists is Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters. And he says, well, if you want to write a good song, start with the chorus. Start with the chorus. Yeah. Repeat something. Anaphora occurs when the same word or phrase begins sentences or clauses that appear close to one another. It adds emphasis to the repeated idea and also creates a pleasing rhythmic effect, often used at the beginnings and endings of speeches. Anaphora makes a speech more powerful and memorable. And the phrase, I have a dream, is repeated to start 8 consecutive sentences. And this exactly is what makes memorable the speech by Martin Luther King. It's a memorable speech by Martin Luther King Jr. And that's the magic. Just repeating, I have a dream. And yeah, through repetition, he starts to go in a crescendo to, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. But in the repetition, he is using that only to anchor the language that follows. And what is the aggregated effect? More of it is remembered exactly as it was said. Perfection. That's what you want. You want people that listen to you to remember what you said. You know it with your kids. Did you hear me? Yes. What did I say? Ah, yo no sé. Ah. Okay. Antithesis. Two ideas placed in opposition to one another. Fantastic. I love this. Parallel structure to create contrast. Fantastic idea. Ideas are better understood or remembered when they're explained as opposites. Makes arguments approachable and easy to remember. And you immediately get it. It's like, okay, yeah, that sounds super cool. Right?
But I didn't understand the last phrase. That one small step for a man, one gigant leap for the making.
Mankind. Humanidad.
Yes, what I mean that is a small step for a single man, but it's a gigant leap for the making. That's no for me. Does no make sense.
Ok, y no te critico porque en este momento no cree la gente que fuimos a la luna. Yo tampoco creo.
No, but
Pero,
Luis tries to say that the main or the goal of that speech or that sentence is the comparative with the small step with the giant leap, right?
yeah,
So in this case,
it's the contrast.
it's the contrast. The contrast is the definition by antítesis.
O sea, esto fue lo que dijo Neil Armstrong cuando aparentemente pisó la luna por primera vez. ¿Sí?
Yeah. Se le subió algo al cerebro.
Él dio esa pisada, ¿cierto? Bueno, pues sí fue a la luna, porque aparentemente apenas vamos a volver a la luna ahora. Y pues en los años 60 fuimos a la luna, aparentemente ahora como que apenas estamos otra vez comenzando. No tiene lógica. Pero bueno, cuando él llegó a la luna, dio el paso, un paso, él, una persona, y para él ese paso era un simple paso, pero para la humanidad era un salto gigante. Era un paso en la luna. Eso es lo que llama retórica. Y si, supongamos, si todo fue una mentira, si fue un gran salón que llenaron con cemento pues en polvo, y nos hicieron creer que fueron a la luna, pues efectivamente nos convencieron, nos persuadieron de la mejor manera, porque mira, es lo que lo hace memorable.
Pero Rusia no lo van a dejar mentir. En ese momento era competencia con Rusia y pues Rusia va a decir, sí fueron pruebas. O no sé si porque estaban en conflicto la Unión en ese momento y no sé, pues, pero...
Exacto, muy bien. Ahí lo dijiste tú. Muchas veces es como que el arte de lo que se llama la prestidigitación, que es otra forma de llamar la magia. El truco de magia es simplemente a dónde lo están poniendo usted a mirar para que no vea lo que está pasando por otro lado. Es interesante. But anyway, eso harina de otro costal. Aquí lo importante es que, in fact, it was one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind, if we ever landed on the moon in the 60s.
And the NASA will come to the moon in 2024, 2025.
Exactly. Y ojo, pues, Luis, para que tengas esto en cuenta, cuando le preguntaron a la NASA que dónde está la tecnología que utilizamos en los 60, que dónde quedó eso consignado, adivine qué dijeron. La votaron. No, la votaron.
Perdón.
Que la votaron. O sea, hágame eso. Si usted cree eso, que la votaron. O sea, ahí donde uno dice como que... Anyway.
The 51 area.
Maybe. Okay, so there. I think that's enough. Eso es suficiente por para una sesión. Tienen esos componentes. Antítesis, anáfora, anamnesis, analogy, amplification, and alliteration. ¿Ya? Todos comienzan con...
Everything in just 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then we go to appeal to ethos, which you already know. La idea con esto es que esto comience a ser parte de las viñetas. Que ustedes comiencen a tomar decisiones ejecutivas. ¿Cómo nos va a tocar hacer de aquí en adelante? Porque si en realidad, olvídense Ustedes ya lo saben, yo creo que ya poco a poco se van enterando. Si no es por ustedes mismos, es por las noticias que generan, todo lo que pasa, los disturbios que causa saber que la gente ya utiliza inteligencia artificial para describirlo todo. Pero la acción responsable acá es como yo siempre les he dicho, para mí el chat GPT es una yegua, se lo pone a correr, ¿cierto? Pero usted tiene que ser quien tiene el propósito en mente. Por ejemplo, lo que presenté hoy comenzó con chat GPT. Chat GPT nos dijo que era retórica, pero yo soy quien decido si eso sí es lo que yo quiero para poder darles este mensaje, aplicado a lo que nosotros hacemos. Ahora usted coge ChatGPT y hace su viñeta, por ejemplo, para el miércoles. Y le pide a ChatGPT 12 versiones. Y ya usted con estas herramientas, usted dice, me gusta esta porque hay antítesis. Ve, me gusta esto acá porque hay anamnesis. Ve, me gusta esta forma de verlo porque pues hay analogía y me gusta más así. Anamnesis. Para esto se necesita mucho anamnesis. Por eso uno dice, ve, ¿qué pasa? El futuro yo me lo imagino así. Pero ¿usted dónde saca eso del pasado? Entonces, si usted utiliza anamnesis, es mucho más consolidado el argumento. Dice, hace 20 años era así. En 20 años seguro que va a ser de esta otra manera. ¿Sí? Y tendrás tus razones para tenerlo así, pero es anamnesis. ¿Right? Eso es lo que es. Eso es una viñeta. Ya enseguida les paso una viñeta de el que era el director de proyectos de Google. Él se salió de Google hace ya más o menos unos 10 años porque se le murió el hijo. Y eso le cambió la vida. Y muy interesante, nos deja un mensaje del futuro, acerca del futuro hace 10 años, del futuro, y ya lo estamos viviendo. Hemos sobrepasado eso. Habla de la singularidad. No sé si algunos de ustedes sepan qué es singularidad, yo creo que algunos ya saben. Y es el momento en que la inteligencia artificial se vuelve más inteligente que toda la raza humana combinada. ¿Sí? En ese momento no tenemos una forma de predecir el futuro. Y entonces vamos a ver la viñeta que nos da este tipo y ustedes deciden si es interesante y por qué, basando sus ideas en esto. ¿Ya? En parte, uno muchas veces, como les digo, si uno no es sofisticado en el uso del lenguaje, a uno le meten los goles por encima, por debajo, por entre las piernas, no se da cuenta. Pero cuando uno empieza a ver, interesante. La religión católica es altamente elaborada en retórica. Es a powerhouse, una estación de poder, lo que es la Iglesia Católica, en términos de rhetoric. But anyway, so that's it for tonight, guys. I thank you very much, and let's use this. Utilicemos esto, no solamente para la tarea, sino para la vida, for life. For your kids, you can help your kids with this a lot. Okay?
I have a
kids
question.
know this. What?
I have a question.
What's the question?
Edward has a sore throat today.
It is quiet. He's
Exactly.
listening.
It's quite that's a
Él está
grip.
aplicando, él está
That's a
aplicando lo
grip.
que está aplicando lo que nos dijo Luis.
That's a
Él
grip.
no habla, pero pone un cuidado.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's
That's
true.
right. That's right.
It was
Because he
quite.
applies
It was
the-
quite as a grip.
Exactly, quiet as a grave.
I was doing certain activities with my son. But for that reason, I was distracted, a little bit distracted. But I was put attention in the class today.
Yeah, and I think it's a very important topic. So,
Three new concepts. In this moment.
what are they?
No. The connection is weird.
Okay.
Maybe.
So there you go, guys. Thank you very much, Luis, Juanca, Eddie, and Berna. And then I'll see you again on when do I see you again? I see you again on Wednesday, okay?
Wednesday. Yes.
Right?
Teachers, thank you so much. Great class.
Thank you very much.
Thank-
And I'm glad you liked
Thank you. Thank you, Fab. Thank you, guys.
it. All right, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good night.